which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Green, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Heavenly Father, we always want to give you our praise, but certainly during this time of season, we thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ. We thank you just giving us life, giving us the ability to come to the end of ourselves and recognize you as the leader and authority of our lives. Father, I know these are difficult times for a lot of people, and there's a lot of turmoil in this nation. I just pray that we can see through the rhetoric and see people as humans and treat one another with kindness and respect. And I pray your Spirit would guide us in our hearts tonight as we try to make decisions for the city. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Ms. Lewis, could I have a roll call, please?
Green,
Here.
Paprick,
Here.
Gibson,
Here.
Fox,
Here.
Allen,
Here.
Swisher,
Here.
Brandt,
Here.
Simmons.
Here.
Has everybody had a chance to look over their agenda? I would like to have a motion and a second, please.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second, Green.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on, approve or correct regular session minutes of November 18th, 2025. Everybody looked at those? If so, I need a motion and a second.
Make a motion we accept, Your Honor. Second, Allen.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving on down to committee reports. First up, we have Municipal Services and Personnel Committee. That's council members Brandt and Green.
Start off, we have the stormwater tip of the month, and it is get involved, teach your youth about the ways to protect our local streams and rivers where stormwater flows, everything goes. Just to say that, you know, whether it's in our schools or whether it's at home, to teach our children the importance of protecting our water supply and all the effects that if we don't, what could happen. So moving on, have just some updates really from our last meeting, the report. And well, first off, Municipal Service is working on snow removal, and I know they worked on that today and a good part of yesterday, and it's come out real well. I think that with their work and then a little bit of sun for a couple of days until it gets cold, we should be in good shape. So is there, I know we're working, at the last meeting, we talked about that post office box move. I guess that's that is a go as far as the post office and us, and yeah, I know.
I just had contact today from the postmaster that indicated that they weren't necessarily going to pursue that.
Okay.
So I started writing a memo to the Municipal Services Committee, but it was just before the meeting, so I haven't completed. So I think we probably need to talk about that. It might be a good idea for us just to go ahead and prepare the site, and then if there's a change of mind with the upper management or something, then we'll be ready for them at that point. But we may need to talk about this in a little more detail with the committee.
Okay. We may be meeting on that again soon. So, at the airport, talked to Randy today. He said Emery Sap has come in and done their mill overlay and striping, completed that project for kind of the substandard work that was previously done, and it looks real good. Drew, I don't know if you've been out there. Yeah, Randy said it looks real good. So it's all complete. So looks like we should be able to wrap that up possibly real soon. I know we talked about a hangar request from an individual, and we were going to set up a pre-meeting with that individual and talk about the requirements or potential of that. Also the abandoned alley situation, I know we're working on that too, just to kind of get everybody contacted and do our due diligence on that. At the later on in this meeting, we'll have a first reading on the Lion Street snow route, adding that street from I guess it's Arrow to High as an additional street on that list. And we're coming up on time when we would change our compost hours. Right now, we're running 6 days a week, Last year, typically at the end of the year, December 31st, we would go to 3.5 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then till noon on Saturday. We'll report on that to make everybody sure of that at the next meeting, but typically that's what we've done and plan to do that again. And I think that's all I've got, unless somebody has any questions. You got anything to add, J.D.? Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Brandt. Mr. Green?
Just wanted, I think we'll follow up on this, but the street tax possibility, I know you're gonna follow up on that. And then also, just remind everybody that I think, Amy, you might have to correct me, but I think the RTS contract is coming up on 36 months. Yeah, so I think we're having a possible price increase per the contract. I just wanted to remind everybody. I pulled it up here at the end of 36 months. It'll increase at a rate not to exceed 3%. So I think that's pretty soon, but we'll have Amy follow up on that with the Finance Committee. And then it does that for 2 years, not more than 3% each year. And then I think we either stick with it or throw out bids again or something
It's-
like
yeah,
that. but
it's
that'll-
open for bid at that
Yeah.
point, I think, yeah.
And then secondly, Tony, we've talked about separating the line item for sanitation for the city versus RTS. Have you gotten any information on that?
I think it's possible to do it. I haven't done too much into it, but it's just adding another line of service that would be the city sanitation and then putting a flat rate in there.
Okay. If it's something easy, I think we would like to look at doing that. If it's major problem,
I'll look at it.
so check it out and see. I think it'd be good for the citizens to see the 3% or less, and just to make sure everything's up to snuff, and then what they pay RTS versus what they pay for the sanitation department here, which I think we just got a street sweeper or something? Yeah, so, we have to watch those funds in that department and increase or whatever, decrease the sanitation side versus the RTS side, so just want to keep it as transparent as possible for people to see that, so I think that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Property Finance, Budget, and Audit Committees, Council Members Patrick and Fox.
Just one month into the fiscal year, as of November 30th, revenues are at $3,093,000, which is 21.3% of the budget, and expenditures are at $3,752,000, 24.19% of the budget, and that is just as expected.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick. Mr. Fox, do you have anything?
Nothing to add.
Thank you. Community Development and Code Committee, Council Members Allen and Simmons.
Yeah, I got a report on permits that were, requested. Looks like we got a total of 5 building permits, 4 electrical and 3 plumbing, for a total of 12. Estimated cost, $415,000, and permit fees collected, $1,100, so real close.
Thank you, Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Simmons, do you have anything?
No further comments, sir.
Shocked, aren't you? I am too. Moving on down to Public Relations and Public Safety Committee, that's Council Members Swisher and Gibson.
I have the fire departments. From October 28th to November 24th, the Marshall Fire Department responded to 3 fire calls in the city and 3 fire calls in the county, responded to 13 rescue medical calls, 2 hazardous conditions, no fire, 6 service calls, 8 good intent calls in the city, 1 in the county, responded to 4 false alarms in the city, 1 in the county. Total calls, 41.
Thank you, Mr. Swisher. Mr. Gibson, do you have anything?
I have no report, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Moving on down to City Administrator's Report, Mr. Kerman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of items of interest to follow up with the Municipal Services Committee. Yes, the staff did meet, and we discussed in detail the sales tax proposal. and we've got a number of recommendations as well as just some informational items to pass along. We would like to have another meeting with the Public Safety Committee where we could sit down and go through some of those with you. At that meeting, we probably should also talk about the item that we just discussed with Councilman Brandt, the post office box. Again, the locates are in, and I think at this point, we're going to plan on proceeding with the work. And then we'll see if there's any further negotiation with the post offices at that point. In addition to those two items, though, the big issue that I'd like to talk to the Municipal Services Committee about is that we received word this morning, finally officially from Economic Development Administration of the federal government, that we are going to receive the $2 million grant package for the Boyd Street stormwater improvement. This is years old now. This application was started back in '22, I believe. It's taken a long time to get to this point. They covered a lot of ground with us, a lot of kind of assurances and expectations and things like that today. I think the next step is that the EDA contact and our liaison with the Regional Planning Commission would like to meet with the mayor and myself and possibly the finance director to talk about how the grant works and how you draw down on the amounts as the project is completed. However, I do want to get in front of the Municipal Services Committee as well and discuss this because it is going to impact all the areas that you all oversee. I want to mention, in addition to the sewer work that we're planning in that part of town down the line, coming up here in the next couple of days up by Grant Street along Boyd, we are anticipating quite a few trucks into that area. This is the project site associated with that power generation project that MMU is working on. The initial plan was to bring about 44 to 46 trucks in, beginning on the 2nd through about the 10th. However, the conditions have changed, that site conditions have changed. This has caused the engineers to go back and they want to retool their approach. Generally speaking, we expect the trucks to come in on Miami, either from the north or from the south, more likely from the north, and move onto Eastwood and access Grant via Eastwood rather than coming directly into Grant. In any event, the engineer has been, the project manager and the engineer for that project has been told that they need to clear their transportation plan with the chief of police and the street superintendent, and that we've also asked them to hang door hangers, and I know MMU has helped them develop some door hangers to notify neighbors in that area that they're going to have some large semi-trucks moving through. Of those 44 to 48 trucks I mentioned, anywhere from 4 to 8 of them may be carrying the really large pieces of equipment, the turbine themselves. So please be attentive in that area, and we will release information as it becomes available. If anyone has any questions, please call up to City Hall, and we can get in touch with the project manager and get whatever questions or concerns you have answered relatively quickly. So happy to answer any questions about this or any other city business.
I have a question. I could be mistaken, but I haven't noticed a bill from IBTS since the month of June or July, so I didn't know where we're at on that.
A
Or if
bill?
we're still using IBTS, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we're still using them. I did see an invoice come across the other day. I'll talk with Amy and we'll get caught up with you on the billing aspect of that. I don't recall what the total was at the time.
But
We
it's
are
been
still using them.
Quite a few months, I just haven't seen it on the bill,
Understood.
so,
JD, the citizen brought a concern to me about building permits and the time frame, and I don't know what a typical time frame is, like from when you apply for a permit to when you get a permit. But apparently there's one project that's ready to go. They applied 30 days ago, and as soon as the permit's issued, they're ready to go. And there's one that's a little more complicated, but it's been 120 days. So what is a typical time for that? And is that still done in-house, or is that IBTS?
No, that's all being done with IBTS. Yeah, if I'm thinking of the same cases that you are, it was the plan review and the site review that has extended things, and we've been in touch with Mark Manville from IBTS and with the engineers at Lamp Reinerson to try to keep that process moving. I do think, and this is something we can talk more about at a later date, especially as it relates to the fees that are being charged, because one of the things we've heard repeatedly from tradesmen and from people who are submitting apps is that they want a local liaison. They want, even if they need to interface with IBTS, they still want a local liaison that's dedicated to that work, rather than senior staff who's trying to take that on in addition to other job responsibilities. So I think there's room to have a discussion about that and about what something like that might look like in the future, especially as it relates to any kind of fee increases, because obviously people are going to expect some kind of boots on the ground, some kind of local service to accompany any kind of increase in fees that gets recommended to the committee. So we can certainly have more for you on that. Unfortunately, though, just to get back to your question, I don't have just a standard answer of how many days it would take. I would very much like to develop that kind of a timeline where if you knew, for example, that you were submitting plans, that there would be a certain review time. If you knew you were submitting just a basic permit that can be turned around. If it's something simple like electrical or plumbing or something that can be turned around, we're trying to get them out in a day or two, if possible. Plan review, though, is largely out of our hands at this point, and that's an IBTS issue. So we'll continue to work on that with them.
Okay. Do you talk to IBTS? I mean, like if somebody, like if, another 2 weeks go by and this person still doesn't have a permit, I mean, can they call you and you can contact IBTS?
Yes, of course,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. And sometimes they deal directly with Mark Manville. We've had a couple cases, I know just before Thanksgiving, we had a couple cases where I was talking to individuals and they were also talking to Mark. So we can handle either one, yeah.
Thank you.
What seems to be taking them so long to review plans?
I don't know. I don't know.
I thought that was one of our, moving forward, we wanted to narrow the time frame down. That's why we talked about this before. And it's not being narrowed down. They're getting wider and wider.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. I would say that I actually think we're gaining greater control over the quality of the review that's taking place. It does take some time, though, and unlike having it done, here in City Hall, that when there is an inquiry, we're having to kind of follow up with that inquiry. And that's why I say I do think that there's room in this scenario for somebody kind of in a local liaison position, even if we were to continue to work in that regard. The different permits and the different plan reviews, they vary. They vary greatly, so it would be difficult for me to tell you that there's one cause. I'm not sure that there is. But I think maybe considering that this is coming up tonight and that we've had a couple inquiries about this, it might be another good time to have Mark come down and talk about the plan review process, either with the Codes Committee or with the City Council, kind of whatever you all prefer, and I can get with the mayor and determine how you guys want to approach that if you'd like.
We definitely got to get something figured out.
Okay, understood.
Thank you, Mr. Kerman. Can I give my report?
If you have one.
On a Post-it note
Stop.
Hey, baby steps, Alan, baby steps.
with a crayon?
I'm done with y'all. All right, since my report, since our last meeting, just to let everybody know, I did try to reach out to Fitzgibbon, and I think Mr. Kerman tried to reach out too, just to get some clarification on some rumors that are floating around town. I have not got a call back. I don't know if he got a call back from the hospital either, but we did try to reach out to them. I've been having conversations with Connor Swift, the director of MSDC, about the upcoming projects out at the junction. And he did assure me that Love's has signed a contract, and weather permitting, they will break ground in February 2026 on the southeast corner of 65 and 70 interchange. One thing on my bucket list I have been working on, I've been talking to Connor, the superintendent of the school district. I'm gonna get a hold of MMU, NBC, the chamber, parks, YMCA, et cetera, planning and zoning. And I think now's the time to start, I say now, January 1, that we all get together, come together and start working on a strategic plan for Marshall. And what I mean by that is, I think if we get everybody together in one room and just kind of have a work session, and just see where we need to go, what information somebody could share with us, what we could do as a community to maybe entice to get some businesses, get things rolling in Marshall. That's one of my plans I'd like to put together January sometimes we need to have a meeting, all of us get together in this room and just sit down and talk and see what we can come together for the future in Marshall. So if everybody's in favor of that, and if you think that would work, something that we need to work on. I've been having conversations with Anna Marie too. We've been throwing stuff around. But I think we need to come up with a plan. I'm not saying a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. I'm saying a 2-year plan, and we need to set some goals and start meeting our goals, or try to meet our goals of what we need to do. I know one thing that we did talk about, me and Anna Marie and JD, again, communication is the big key. That was something that would be first on our strategic plan, and then we'll move from there. But there'll be more to come on that deal, but on January 1, I want to start out with trying to come together, and we got to get something going. And last on my little list that I wrote with a crayon, Randy, I just want to say thank you. I've had quite a few compliments on the job your guys, and they did. Of course, it's the first snow, and you didn't tear up nothing. I don't know, no mailboxes have been knocked down, but thank you for what you do too, and that's pretty much my mayor's report. That's all right, Mr. Green.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
It's just good to hear your voice.
Should we frame that?
I know. Moving on, we're moving down to business from the audience. Please let me remind you, it's limited to 3 minutes per speaker, so when the buzzer pops, you must stop. And Anne Marie has that. Any person, resident, non-resident, wishing to address the council may approach the microphone at this time, state their name and their comments. If there's anybody out in the audience that would like to go at this time, thank you.
Hi, everyone. I am Cecilia Cicada with the Small Business Administration, and I am deployed here for disaster assistance. So in October 22nd, we had a presidential declaration that went out, which means that FEMA and SBA deployed out here to provide disaster assistance. There were storms, and it was a while ago. It was April, ended in April 8th in Missouri, affecting a lot of counties. This area was not directly hit. However, there may be economic damage from that. Some of the businesses that you do business with might not have provided the same economic support because of those storms, and for that, there is assistance. So if folks here in Marshall were impacted, they can apply for SBA loans. If they have residences or property of any kind, or nonprofits, anything in Cooper County, and those were affected by the storm, then there's a whole slew of assistance there as well. So there's FEMA grants, and there's also low-interest loans from the SBA. So for those loans, if they're looking to apply for that, either here in Marshall, because they were economically impacted, that would be sba.gov/disaster. And if they have property, and this is really anybody, this is renters, homeowners, nonprofits, businesses, if they have property in Cooper County that was affected directly, then they might also consider FEMA grants, and that's disasterassistance.gov. Any questions? I'll be around after the meeting. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Heisel?
Well, I'm glad Mr. Patrick brought up what he did, because I'm the 30-day person. Oh. Okay? I'm Sandy Heisel. I would like to request that the contractor-developer meeting that was scheduled for the end of September and canceled to be rescheduled. We need an inspection department. The people who believe in doing things the right way are struggling. I have heard stories from contractors, but I will only talk about the ones that have affected my husband and I. We have 2 projects that we are waiting to start. The first is Benton School, which I submitted a request to appear at Planning and Zoning on August 8th of 2025. I got overlooked for the first meeting in August. September, they didn't have a quorum, so they canceled. October was canceled for unknown reason. Finally, I appeared before them on a November 11th, and they agreed to send it to the next P&Z meeting, which isn't until December 9th because of advertising on 2025. That one will be the public comment meeting, and if it goes well, they will vote and move to the city council. If I get approval, I figure it will be at least February of 2026. Now, that's nearly 7 months that I still have to have approval from engineering firm to build out the building on the inside of the units and get a building permit. It cost me about $6,000 to $7,000 a month to have the building and not work on it. It used to be that if you had a canceled planning and zoning meeting, that they would schedule for the following week. Now it's the following month. There's no department to help make this happen. Planning and zoning always went through the building permits program. Next, I applied for a building permit to build a house on Keg Street on November 3rd. With that request, I provided 2 complete sets of prints, which are required by code. A week or so, they requested electronic files from me, so I sent those. To make it easier, I also provided the engineering truss drawings as soon as I received them. We don't usually provide those until we get ready to install the trusses, and then we provide those to the city. I still do not have a building permit. When I submitted the building permit request, I explained, and Diane put a note on the request explaining that this is the exact same house that we completed in February of 2025 on the same street, in the same neighborhood, on the same size lot. With an inspection department, I would have expected for it to take less than a week to have approval. I have missed at least 3 weeks of good weather, which would have allowed me time to pour footings, set plumbing, pour the slab, and start framing. We could have been under roof by the 1st of January. Now we must wait for decent weather to start, which could be possibly spring. Again, costing me money for a vacant lot and trusses that are being delivered in December. Now, I know me losing money is not a concern, but consider this. In the last 5 years, there have been 5 spec homes built in the city of Marshall. We built 2 of those and are trying to build the 3rd. Please put the inspection department back in the budget.
Thank you, Ms. Heisel. Moving on, is there anyone else that would like to speak this time? Amy? Just kidding. Tony? Okay. Moving on to ordinances. Ms. Lewis, could you give the second reading by title only, please?
An ordinance authorizing the Board of Public Works of the City of Marshall, Missouri to enter into a standard form of agreement between owner and architect, AIA, document B101-2017, with Simon Oswald Associates Incorporated, DBA SOA Architecture, for architectural and design services related to the Marshall Municipal Utilities Administration Building and Shop Project, and authorizing the Board of Public Works to execute the agreement.
Everybody understand that one? And this is a second reading. I need a motion and a second to approve.
I move to approve.
Second, Allen?
Ms. Lewis, could I get a roll call, please?
Paprick,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Swisher,
Yes.
Brandt,
Yes?
Simmons,
Yes,
Green.
Yes.
Ms. Lewis, could you read the second ordinance, please?
An ordinance amending Chapter 30, Article 3 of the Municipal Code of Ordinances of the City of Marshall, Missouri by repealing said Article 3 and enacting in lieu thereof new sections of like number and subject matter for the purpose of establishing updated regulations for the provision of sanitary sewer service in the City of Marshall.
And this is the first reading. I guess, Chuck, I hate to put you on the spot, Eric, could you kind of give us a little light on this deal?
Yeah, so we're,
Can you come to the podium, sir? State your name and address. I got lots of questions.
So I'm Eric Perkins. I'm the wastewater plant superintendent. So we're mainly looking to upgrade or to amend the permit limits of our industries and our pretreatment, their permits. They've known about this. They've been coming down the line for quite some time. We will be looking to do that January 1. And the need for this is to protect our wastewater plant as required by DNR.
What changes? I mean, I read that, but
Yeah,
I didn't.
So it's, they're required to meet like biochemical oxygen demand and ammonia limits, and there's certain pollutants of concern that they have to abide by, and it's just adjustments to those as we go forward.
Does it, I mean, does it affect any of us in any way? I mean, oh, okay,
No, no.
thank you.
Alan, go ahead.
That answered my question.
Thank you, sir. All right, I need a motion and a second to approve the first reading.
I move to approve the first reading.
Second.
Gibson.
Ooh, I'll give it to you. He said his name, he got it.
Could I have a roll call vote, please?
Gibson,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Swisher,
Yes.
Brandt,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes,
Green,
Yes.
Paprick.
Yes.
Ms. Lewis, could you read the third ordinance by title only, first reading?
An ordinance amending Chapter 29 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Marshall pertaining to snow routes and to the removal of snow and ice from public and private property.
I had a question on this one. When it, I guess I would say that like all the traffic that comes out of the school on the intermediate side of the school, they go down, State Street. So wouldn't we need to like make sure that road's clear? That way the school flow keeps going and not full of snow and there's not wrecks and pileups and stuff trying to get in and out of that school.
Randy?
Randy, are you gonna, will you come to the dais, or we're gonna take that thing?
Yeah, I'm Randy Cornine, Director of Municipal Services. That is one of our primary streets there, so it's one of the first ones, you know, like Lincoln and Slater, State Street, that's, you know, we don't, we tried to plow it this time too, you know, because there's gonna be a crosswalk there,
Yeah.
so,
But I mean, the school traffic is using that road pretty heavily.
yeah,
I mean, to even get into the intermediate side, you have to pretty much go down State Street.
yeah.
So, I mean, if that road's, you know, full of snow and we've got all the school traffic trying to go up and down it, I just feel like it needs to be cleared.
Yeah, this time here, we went ahead and cleared all that just because of the school there, you know, so, yeah, it wouldn't be bad to put it on as a primary too.
Now, State Street's actually the street, the second entrance going
Yeah.
in, right, yeah.
Yeah,
Slater
I
and
mean,
State.
Slater, yeah, we do that one to State. We did go ahead and plow it this time too, just to, because we figure, we anticipate a lot of traffic there.
So do you think we need to make that a part of the emergency snow route, State Street?
I mean,
I mean, those are two separate things.
yeah, we can just put it as a primary and just go ahead and plow it every time if you want. I mean, so.
Yeah, I mean,
it's-
a primary would seem more fitting than
Yeah,
an emergency.
yeah, we'll just do it as a primary, yeah.
We
Yeah,
have
I
emergency-
guess.
We have snow routes, and then we have primary
Okay.
streets, secondary streets, and then we have our residential streets. So it's kind of
Okay.
how the,
Well, I suppose emergency route, they probably wouldn't be in school if it was that bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but,
okay.
Now, we're adding, are these, most of these are already, that are on this list are already snow routes, or are these additional emergencies?
Yeah, I didn't know which ones were on there to begin with either.
Are you adding,
we're just adding line to this whole
Yeah.
list.
okay, everything else was the same, so everything else is already marked and, okay?
yes. Yeah, we're just in Lion Street because that's the fastest route, you know, for emergency vehicles to get
Yeah,
north
this
side of town.
this is our total list, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Good. Any more questions from Mr. Cornell?
So,
Thank you, sir.
all right.
Thank you, Randy.
Did you read that by title only? Yeah,
I
you
did.
did. Okay. Could I have I need a motion and a second to approve the first reading.
Motion to approve the first reading, Green?
Second, Allen.
You were on that. Ms. Lewis, could I have a roll call vote, please?
Fox,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Swisher,
Yes.
Brandt,
Yeah,
Simmons,
yes,
Green,
Yes.
Paprick,
Yes.
Gibson.
yes.
Appropriation. Ms. Lewis, could you give the first reading by title only?
An ordinance making the appropriation for the payment of accounts out of the different city funds.
I need a motion and a second to take it to a second reading.
I move to take it to the second reading.
second Simmons,
Ms. Lewis, could I have a roll call vote, please?
Allen,
Yes.
Swisher,
Yes.
Brandt,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Paprick,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Fox.
Yes.
Ms. Lewis, could you give a second reading by title only?
An ordinance making the appropriation for the payment of accounts out of the different city funds.
I need a motion and a second to approve.
Make a motion, we approve?
Second, Green.
I have a roll call vote.
Swisher,
Yes.
Brandt,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Paprick,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
At this time, is there any other council business that we need to discuss? Council members?
I would like to, maybe not right now, but, you know, IBTS and Sandy's story, I thought things were going pretty good, but that story kind of takes a sledgehammer to that thought. I mean, I don't know why we're not having P and Z meetings the next week, or, you know, can we just kind of look at all that and figure out why and do something to make sure that doesn't happen again? Because, you know, when IBTS was here, I think that guy said they would turn over stuff really quick with plans and things, and I don't know, maybe JD was talking to, and I get this in the business world, like they have a question about a plan, then it's a week later when they get a response, and it's a week later when they, you know, I get all that from a business standpoint, but, and I know JD's gonna look into how to speed that up, but the idea from internally, planning and zoning, I mean, that one hurts. We gotta figure that out, so.
Well, I can kind of speak to that one just a tad bit. I know
Okay.
planning and zoning we didn't have all the members, and it was kind of a hit and miss deal, but that's still no excuse, so,
Yeah.
but I think we got everybody back on track. And JD, we'll work together and try to.
Yeah, there was
see-
some question about the, at one point, the mayor appointed a councilman in addition to the councilman that had been appointed by the city council to serve in their stead, and there was some question about whether or not that was appropriate or we should seat the board like that. So there was some delay. Ultimately, the chairman is the one that typically would decide if we can't have a meeting or we don't have a quorum, if we're gonna try to schedule a one right behind it. Now, I think he's flexible to some extent on that, but our code does require that we meet at the same time every month. I think maybe there had been a little deviation from that, but our code does require that those meetings always take place the second Tuesday of the month. So that's kind of what we've been going by now. But yeah, we're trying to refine that process and streamline it. We did need to look into the issue with the number of elected officials that were on the seats. That was definitely a problem. And it did cause delays for Sandy. It absolutely did. Hopefully, we're in a position now where we're not going to repeat that. We've got another appointee, so you've got, you're full now on your code. So now that we've got these items, these meetings rather set on a regular agenda, like for example, the last one, in addition to the email notice, I just texted each member, and the chairman and I had determined that that's how we're going to move forward. We're going to attempt to make sure that each member is getting notified and a reminder, so that we don't have these quorum issues like we've had in the past, so. I know that doesn't address everything, but I think we can give you a more comprehensive look at all these issues as well moving forward.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, hopefully in the future it won't, but I think if we were running short on people, maybe we could call a emergency meeting or something and get people in there or something, you know, who knows?
Yeah, I think so. And as far as IBTS, JD, I think we probably should get a hold of him and just see if he won't come down here pretty quick, and just, we need to ask him some questions, why. And then
Certainly,
we'll come
yeah.
back and have some answers for you on that.
Understood.
If we can.
Well, I think another specific request that is very reasonable is to go ahead and schedule another meeting with the contractors. that
We
was,
That was my next thing, that we need to get the contractor meeting going, before too long.
Gotcha. Will do.
Anybody else got anything? Mr. Allen?
Nothing.
Mr. Simmons?
Good?
Mr. Brandt?
Nope.
Mr. Swisher?
No.
Fox?
Not today.
Not today. We good? All right. I guess I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second. Alan.
All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.